Hey guys, how we all doing? Now I didn't do a release video for May because, as I mentioned before, there just wasn't too much coming out and I wasn't sure that I wanted to do a 2-minute video that only mentioned 2 games. Well, it is June now, and thankfully we do have a little more to look forward to this month. Now, as always, dates are subject to change, so don't blame me if any of this is inaccurate. So, let's just get right into it. Here are a couple highlights from the Japanese release schedule for June 2019. A few years ago, Yokai Watch was pretty big in Japan, and it almost seemed like it could dethrone Pokemon for a media franchise featuring a large cast of cute characters. Well, that didn't quite turn out to be the case, but the series isn't dead, and on June 20th you can pick up the next numbered title in the series on the Nintendo Switch. If you're learning Japanese, I actually do recommend checking out the Yokai Watch games because the story is pretty easy to pick up, and all the kanji have furigana readings on top, so you can still read a sentence even though you don't know how a particular kanji is read. And the gameplay seems pretty fun too. If you're looking for something else, you could also check out the PS4 re-release of Yakuza V, which also drops on the same day. This is pretty much the same game that came out in 2012, but with some cleaned up textures and a higher frame rate. I say this all the time, but Yakuza games are really fun, and if you want a game with crime drama, but absolutely does not take itself too seriously, you're bound to have a pretty good time with the Yakuza game. Now, if you're a fan of anime and games and you've been to Tokyo before, chances are you've made the trip over to Akihabara. But you know what the worst part of going outside is? That's right, the people. For those of you who want to fully enjoy the sights of Akihabara without having to deal with other humans, you can definitely do that in Jinri no Minasama e when that comes out on June 27th. I'm not sure I wanted a survival game that takes place in an abandoned Akihabara, but the premise is pretty interesting, so this might be something to check out later. Way back when, SNK had a pretty good portfolio of fighting games, and one of their more popular titles was Samurai Spirits. Released in English-speaking regions as Samurai Shodown, for the first time in nearly 10 years, we are finally getting another entry in the long-running series. Although not quite as big as other fighting games, for hardcore fans of the genre, I still think this would be something that you might want to check out. Now, I've never played a Samurai Shodown game before, to be honest, but I have used the K-Groove at least once in Capcom vs SNK 2, which is pretty much the rage gauge from Samurai Shodown. I know that doesn't quite qualify me, but I mean, now I just really want to play CVS 2. Fans of the Konosuba anime or light novels will be pleased to know that later this month there is a video game adaptation that you can check out while you wait for the movie to get released later this summer. And then you can continue to play this game while you wait for an eternity for Season 3. The full title of this game was too long to put on screen, but for those interested, it's Konosubarashi Sekai ni Shukufuku o Kibou no Meikyu to Sudoishi Boukensha Tachi. Rounding out the month is Super Mario Maker 2 on June 28th. Super Mario Maker has a pretty interesting community, and honestly, I think even Nintendo themselves did not expect that people would make some of the levels that have made it out onto the internet. The wild thing is that in order to actually get your level published, you need to be able to actually finish it. Now, I'll never ever be able to make anything beyond the most simplest of levels, but the extra stuff that's being added into the sequel should help those with actual creative talents the ability to make the levels that I can't quite imagine right now. And that's it for June. If there's something you think I should have mentioned but didn't, you can go ahead and let me know what it was down in the comments below. And if you have some extra time, you can check out the channel and find something else to watch. We're almost done our playthrough of Super Neptunia RPG, so we'll be moving on to something new soon. I just need to figure out what it is. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, you'll find a link to that in the video description, and I do try my best to update occasionally. Thanks a lot for watching, I'll see you next video. Take care.